On June 27, 2025, the U.S. Supreme Court made a landmark decision not about the merits of President Trump's birthright citizenship policy, but about the power of federal judges. The court ruled that a single federal judge can no longer issue a nationwide injunction to block a presidential policy. This means lower courts can only halt a policy for the people or states involved in a lawsuit, not the entire country. The case stemmed from Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship, which many groups and states challenged as unconstitutional. Previously, some judges blocked the policy nationwide, but the Trump administration argued this gave too much power to individual judges. The Supreme Court's 6-3 decision agreed, shifting the balance of power between the courts and the White House. Now, presidents will face fewer immediate nationwide legal roadblocks when issuing executive orders. This ruling sets a precedent for all future presidents, regardless of party. It's a procedural victory for Trump, but its impact will be felt by every administration. The decision has sparked debate about the court's role in protecting rights versus allowing executive action. To understand the stakes, we need to look at what birthright citizenship means and how the court's reasoning reshapes judicial authority. The majority and dissenting justices offered sharply different views, highlighting the complexity and significance of this shift. This marks a clear change in how the judiciary can check presidential power, with consequences for everyone in the U.S. Birthright citizenship means anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen, regardless of their parents' status. This principle comes from the 14th Amendment, passed after the Civil War to grant citizenship to formerly enslaved people. The Citizenship Clause says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens. For over 150 years, this has meant children born on U.S. soil, including those of undocumented immigrants, are citizens. The U.S. follows jus soli, or right of the soil, unlike many countries that use jus sanguinis, or right of blood. The key phrase, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, has been debated, but the Supreme Court has interpreted it broadly. In 1898, the court ruled in United States v. Wong Kim Ark that a child born in San Francisco to Chinese parents was a citizen. This precedent confirmed that children of immigrants born here are citizens. President Trump's executive order challenged this long-standing interpretation. The debate centers on whether subject to the jurisdiction thereof should exclude children of undocumented or temporary residents. Supporters of the traditional view say the law is clear and settled. Opponents argue the phrase was never meant to cover children of those here illegally or temporarily. This disagreement over a few words in the Constitution is at the heart of the controversy. The Supreme Court's decision didn't resolve this debate, but it changed how such challenges can proceed. President Trump's executive order directly challenged the traditional reading of the 14th Amendment. The order stated that only children with at least one U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident parent would get citizenship at birth. This would exclude children born to undocumented immigrants or temporary visa holders. The administration argued that, subject to the jurisdiction thereof should be interpreted narrowly, excluding those whose parents owe allegiance to another country. Lawsuits quickly followed, with civil rights groups and states arguing the president can't change the Constitution by executive order. Lower courts issued injunctions to block the policy, leading to a legal showdown. Supporters of the order claimed birthright citizenship encourages illegal immigration. Opponents warned it would create a new underclass of people born in the U.S. without citizenship rights. The deep legal and moral disagreement brought the issue to the Supreme Court. The court's ruling didn't settle the constitutional question, but it changed the rules for challenging such policies. The fight over birthright citizenship is far from over. The Supreme Court's ruling ended the era of nationwide injunctions by single federal judges. Now, a judge's order can only block a policy for the parties involved in the lawsuit, not the entire country. This means a presidential policy could be blocked in some states but enforced in others, creating a patchwork of rules. The majority argued that nationwide injunctions gave too much power to individual judges and disrupted the legal process. Limiting injunctions encourages multiple courts to weigh in, allowing for a more balanced review before a final decision. Opponents of a policy must now file lawsuits in multiple states, making it harder to get immediate sweeping relief. Supporters say this change prevents judge shopping and restores order to the legal process. The ruling fundamentally alters how legal challenges to presidential actions will unfold. it's a major shift in the balance between the judiciary and the executive branch. Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote the majority opinion, emphasizing judicial restraint. She argued that courts should resolve only the specific disputes before them, not act as national policymakers. Nationwide injunctions, she said, overstep the judiciary's constitutional role and disrupt the balance of power. Barrett stressed that federal courts should limit relief to the actual plaintiffs, not extend it to everyone. This approach, she argued, is more consistent with the Constitution's limits on judicial authority. She also noted that nationwide injunctions often lead to conflicting rulings and legal chaos. By ending this practice, the court hopes to encourage more orderly legal development, with different appellate courts weighing in before the Supreme Court decides. Barrett made clear the ruling was procedural, not a judgment on the birthright citizenship policy itself. The message, the judiciary's power is important, but not unlimited. The decision aims to reinforce those limits and prevent judicial overreach. The court's focus was on process, not policy. Justice Sonia Sotomayor's dissent warned that limiting nationwide injunctions weakens the court's ability to protect constitutional rights. She argued that some government actions, like immigration policies, affect people nationwide, and only a broad injunction can provide real protection. Without this tool, millions could be harmed while lawsuits drag on in different courts. Sotomayor criticized the majority for sidestepping the core issue, the constitutionality of Trump's order. She argued the court should have confronted the threat to a core constitutional principle. Her dissent warned the decision could embolden future presidents to push their authority further, knowing courts can't stop them everywhere at once. She saw the judiciary as a vital guardian of individual rights against executive overreach. The dissent presents a starkly different vision of the court's role in American democracy. The Supreme Court's decision immediately changed the status of Trump's birthright citizenship order. Nationwide injunctions blocking the policy are gone. Now the order is blocked only in the states that sued. In 22 states the policy remains on hold, but in the other 28, the Trump administration can enforce its new rules. This creates a confusing patchwork. A child's citizenship status could depend on the state where they're born. For the administration, it's a procedural win. They can implement the policy in much of the country while legal battles continue. Opponents now face a tougher fight, needing to file new lawsuits in every state where the policy is active. This will require massive coordination and resources, leading to many simultaneous court cases. The ultimate question of the policy's constitutionality remains unresolved. The new legal landscape is more complex, expensive, and uncertain. The fight over birthright citizenship is now a state-by-state battle. This Supreme Court decision reshapes the balance of power between presidents and the courts for generations. By ending nationwide injunctions, the court has made it easier for any president to implement policies, even if they face legal opposition. Future presidents will know their executive orders can't be blocked everywhere at once. This could encourage more aggressive policymaking, with policies taking effect in much of the country before courts can fully review them. States will play a bigger role in challenging federal power, leading to more regional legal battles. The result? A patchwork of laws and deeper political divisions across the nation. The Supreme Court will face more pressure to resolve major disputes quickly, but many issues may remain in legal limbo for years. The ruling fundamentally changes the legal landscape for presidential power and judicial oversight. Its impact will be felt long after the current controversy fades. The Supreme Court's June 2025 decision is a turning point, not for deciding birthright citizenship, but for redefining judicial power. By ending nationwide injunctions, the court has tilted the balance toward the presidency, making it easier for executive actions to take effect. Trump's order can now be enforced in over half the country, creating a patchwork of citizenship laws. Opponents must fight on multiple fronts, leading to more legal uncertainty and division. The majority argued for judicial restraint, the dissent warned of weakened protections for rights. This debate reflects a larger question: how should courts check presidential power in a democracy? The ruling means controversial policies may stand longer before being fully reviewed. The Supreme Court has redrawn the lines of power between the White House and the courts, shaping American law for years to come.